Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie, we're talking about 2023. With only a few short days until the new year, we wanted to take a moment to reflect back on what we've accomplished in 2022 and give you a glimpse into the neon fluorescent future as we draw ever closer to Lightfall. We don't want to give too much away, but we've invited several talented individuals to hold the proverbial mic and shed some light on the sweeping changes arriving in a few short months. So starting one more time. Before we dive into all the juicy details, we do need to address the elephant in the room. A few TWABs ago, in a studio far, far away, we set expectations for our next weekly Fireteam chat to go live January the 12th, post all the holiday festivities. The truth is, our communication teams had some extra time before we began our 2-week leave of absence, so we decided to over-deliver and give you all a surprise Christmas gift. Oh, thank you, Bungie! As you're reading this, we're still cozied up by the fire, spending time with family and friends, and preparing to celebrate the beginning of a new year. We sent this TWAB out directly to our creators early so they have time to curate coverage at their holiday leisure. But don't worry, we've still been watching live all your reactions to the exciting developments taking place in game and playing through the newest season of Seraph content from the comfort of our homes, whether it's space jumping above the last city or grinding for a particular adept hand cannon. So without further ado, let's get into the news. Iron Banner returns! Similar to most New Year's resolutions, we're laying off the Christmas cookies and adding salad back to our diet. January the 3rd, Eva will be packing up her dawning decorations and Lord Saladin will arrive with a fiery banner to usher in the new year. Now, as mentioned in a previous TWAB, the featured game mode this season is Fortress. We know you're curious on what to expect, so we'll give you a brief rundown of how it works. Similar to zone control, Guardians will fight over zones and attempt to capture them for the team to score points. However, in Fortress, remaining on a checkpoint after the initial capture will progressively fortify the zone with Cabal reinforcements, courtesy of Empress Kaido. Fortifying a zone will summon Cabal turrets to defend the position until they are dispatched by the opposing team. Now, after a zone is fortified, you could choose to stay and defend or leave the Cabal turrets to hold the territory for you while attempting to capture more zones. You can fortify a zone up to 4 times, and the first 3 tiers will summon Cabal turrets, 1 for each tier, and as for the final tier, we'll save that drop for Tuesday. Winning consecutive games of Fortress will award players a special gift from the Empress herself, so feel free to speculate. After playtesting internally for several weeks, the team agreed that adding extra incentives to capturing and holding a zone rewards objective play and encourages more coordinated and aggressive assaults of enemy capture points. Ultimately, we saw an increase in dedicated player engagements and comeback opportunities throughout matches. It's not often we mix PvE and PvP elements together under one roof, so we're excited to see the community get their hands on this and to hear your feedback on the game mode overall. It's not often we mix PvE and PvP. Okay, cough, cough, Gambit. I'm down. Now, rewards. Don't forget, new armor and weapons will also be available to earn next week. We know how much our core players love reprised Destiny 1 content. Taking King Armor makes a fiery comeback this season, alongside the Dark Decider auto rifle and the Gnora's Axe Slug shotgun. Happy hunting, young wolf. Now, quitter penalties. It's high time to revisit quitter penalties. We've been able to gather more player behavior data over the past month, and we're confident these metrics inform how we'll move forward in curating a healthy PvP environment for everyone. But enough from me. Here's Janet Limiter from our sandbox matchmaking and global networking team to discuss more of the finer details. So from Janet. Hi everyone, I'm here representing our matchmaking team to explain the data we've collected regarding quitter suspensions and the changes we're making to align with player sentiment. Quitter suspensions, or penalties, were added as an emergency measure to combat an exponential increase of players leaving matches during Season of the Plunder. After the initial implementation, we saw an immediate halt in the number of players leaving matches prematurely. Well, no shite. This by no means solved the problem of Guardians ditching their Fireteam members, but it was a start. Unfortunately, in the past month, we've seen another uptick in players quitting matches. The percentage of players abandoning matches reached an all-time high of 11% during Season of Plunder, which instigated the initial addition of a quitter suspension. After the implementation, numbers settled back down to 6% and held steady for a few months. With the launch of Season of Seraph, we've seen a major spike back to 9% matches abandoned. So to combat this trend, we've decided 2 things. 1, quitter penalties have grown ineffective in catcher playlists to restrain players from abandoning their teammates. Suspensions also come with the downside of punishing players with connectivity issues who may be booted to orbit for no reason other than McDonald's Wi-Fi or Xfinity if you're like me. We've also seen a general sentiment of distaste towards suspensions present inside casual playlists. Collectively, all these reasons have informed our decision to remove quitter penalties from the quick play playlist. Now 2, we still need a system in place to deter Guardians from abandoning matches. After much deliberation, we've concluded that the issue was not the quality of the matches, but giving players the ability to leave matches in the first place. In Season 20, we'll be testing a new feature in Crucible Labs, removing the ability to return to orbit while in a Crucible match. Pulling out your Ghosts will only give you the option to view the player directory. This may seem like a sudden change to many of you, but sometimes the best solutions are also the simplest. Again, this feature will only be present in Crucible apps, but if we start to see success, we'll be looking to rolling it out across all PvP playlists. What the hell, Bungie? We're also considering removing the option to quit the game entirely. What? But as always, we want to engage player feedback before we make any drastic changes. Dude, Bungie's being savage out here. 2023 Bungie don't play. Now, mid-season patchwork. With Lightfall fast approaching, there's some final weapon adjustments to make before the witness comes pounding on our doorstep. Once again, we've dragged everyone's favorite senior design lead, Chris Proctor, back to chat about all the upcoming tweaks to the weapon sandbox pre-Lightfall. So from Chris here, how you going? I hope you all had a phenomenal holiday. Really quick, if you haven't read through the Season 19 Update 6.3.0 patch notes, they can be found here. They can be quite beefy, so here's the TLDR of the important bits regarding the weapon sandbox changes. So Update 6.3.0, we added full auto toggle in the gameplay section of the settings menu. We added a fixed pellet spread to each legendary pellet shotgun subfamily and a matching custom reticle. We reworked the blind effect on several exotic weapons to synergize with Arc 3.0 verbs. We fine-tuned a plethora of weapon perks and enhanced traits to better perform to the current sandbox. And we updated a handful of exotic traits to rein in some outliers and buff up a few underperformers. Now, Airborne Effectiveness. We've touched on Airborne Effectiveness a fair bit in recent interviews, but let's put it in writing so we know what to expect here in a few weeks' time. Goals? We've heard the community sentiment regarding primary weapon gun feel in PvP. The goal for Airborne Effectiveness was never to stifle primary weapon usage in air. The team's main concern was the frequency of special weapon usage, particularly the ease of use and one-hit kill opportunities present while airborne. There wasn't a system in place that gave us the dials to turn in case we needed to correct a weapon's in-air performance without tampering with movement abilities and exotics. This would put us in a very tight spot on Strand's arrival, exacerbating any underlying imbalances in the sandbox with no clean way to fix it. In retrospect, we were too conservative with AE on launch, so we'll be dialing back those changes. Now, January the 17th and hotfix 6.3.5, we'll be pushing a live patch to uplift primary weapon airborne effectiveness as a whole. Now, I don't have the exact stats to give you today, but the team's goal is to increase primary airborne effectiveness to match or exceed old Icarus grip with moderate build crafting investments. Perfect in-air accuracy shouldn't be free, but we also don't want to require players center their entire build around hitting shots in air, particularly for primary weapons. We made some changes to the precision accuracy and aim assist cones that should bring primary weapons in line with how they felt pre-airborne effectiveness. As for special weapons, we feel are in a good spot as of now. We'll be revisiting them post-Lightfall once Strand has had time to stew in live. We're very pleased with the predictability and variety fixed shotgun pellet spreads have brought to the table, and we're excited to explore similar changes to weapon recoil in the coming months. Now, grounded efficiency. Oh, what's this? One more thing. We have a new system the team is currently exploring in addition to airborne reworks that rewards players for boots on the ground gameplay. We're hoping that the introduction of more AE build crafting will be balanced by the bonuses granted for reserved playstyles. We've seen very promising results, widening aim assist cones, increasing class ability regeneration, and granting players enhanced true sight after extended periods of grounded gunplay. As always, we'll go in more depth as these systems become fully fleshed out, but stay tuned for future details. What the hell? Grounded efficiency? So what, we get buffs for just standing still, Bungie? What is this? Now, Lightfall. New year, new maps. Arriving in Lightfall will be a brand new Crucible map. Here's your first glimpse at the map Metropolis. Also, every season following Lightfall, a new or reprised map will be added to the Crucible playlist. This is something players have been asking for quite some time, and we've finally been able to devote the required staffing to make that dream a reality. Sexy! Now, skill-based matchmaking. Starting in Season 20, we will begin experimenting with a new form of SBMM called silver-based matchmaking. Once Lightfall launches on February the 28th, a new consumer will be available from Tess Everest, purchasable for 1,000 silver or 8,000 bright dust. Using this will grant you the buff Match Made in Heaven. And while active, your skill level, the internal metric we use to calculate players' PvP proficiency, will be artificially lowered, and the range of players available in your matchmaking pool will widen. This should allow players who find themselves frustrated with the current matchmaking system an opportunity to relax and chill with the homies in a more casual setting. This consumable will not work outside of the Quick Play Crucible playlist. We believe it's of utmost importance to separate the identity between our casual and competitive playlists. Crucible Labs is also off the table to preserve accurate player data in response to new game modes. Better start farming cookies for bright dust. Jesus, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna buy a few. I can't help it. Silver-based matchmaking, here we come. Now, use to the darkness. Now, for info we've all been waiting for. Let's talk darkness subclasses with our ability sandbox design lead, Kevin Giannis. So from Kevin Giannis, honest here. Forgive me for dangling Strand over your head just a while longer. We won't be talking about the new Darkness subclass today. I promise we have a giant TWAB already in the works outlining all the exciting abilities you'll be able to utilize in a few short months. Today, we're talking Stasis. Almost there. While still a very powerful subclass, Stasis hasn't been hitting the mark for us compared to the now fully released 3.0 light subclasses. With all the revamps we've had over the past year, it's time Stasis got some love to keep it up to par with our new light subclass offerings. We don't have a full list of patch notes yet, but we want to share a few examples of what to expect next season. So starting with Bleak Watcher. Oh, our data shows Bleak Watcher turrets are somewhat underutilized. So we decreased the cooldown of grenades while Bleak Watcher is equipped by 50%. Holy hell. Dude, we're just gonna have turrets on turrets. Icefall Mantle. After several heavy nerfs, Icefall Mantle just doesn't have the same pizzas it used to possess. But I think you mean pizzazz. Pizzazz. So we updated the Glacial Guard exotic perk to also grant an overshield after melee hits, breaking combatant shields and crouching. What the hell? So just playing melee hits, combatant shields, and crouching gives you an overshield? Now Shadow Dive. I know what you're thinking. Finally, a Shadow Dive buff. Yep, it's been long overdue for quite some time. This is a mix of a few buffs and nerfs, but overall, we believe it plays better after the changes. So we increased the duration of the dive by 0.1 second, because who doesn't love a good dive that lasts a fraction of a second longer? Decrease the cooldown by 0.5 seconds, because waiting an extra half a second for the Shadow Dive was just too much. And we increased damage by 5%, because let's be real, the extra 5% was the only thing holding Shadow Dive back. We're hoping these adjustments to Stasis increases its overall usability in PvP, and if they don't, well, we'll just buff it again in a few months. Now, it's coming back. Seeing how the world lost their composure when I last talked about the beloved Titan exotic, it is only fitting that I be the one to reveal that yes, Twilight Garrison is returning in Lightfall! We've tried to figure out how to reprise this Destiny 1 chest armor piece for quite some time, to the point where we eventually gave up, till John Bungie came across an ancient copper scroll that revealed the only way to raise Twilight Garrison from the grave. A ritual that consumed the souls of all the Season 19 exotic armor pieces was required to summon Twilight Garrison in Destiny 2. Small price to pay, we know, one we are willing to make. Twilight Garrison will be included with the deluxe edition of Lightfall, so if you already canceled your pre-order, you may want to make a call to your local bank. Beyond, that's it. That's all the Lightfall details you get for now. However, that doesn't mean we're out of new news. We still have a few announcements looking even further into the future that we know you'll love. Oh my god. Elder Scrolls 6 X Destiny? We are thrilled to announce that Destiny 2 will be collaborating with the highly anticipated game Elder Scrolls 6. You'll be able to collect your very own Tamriel, themed Sparrow, and Ghost. Mark your calendars for 2029. As soon as Skyrim 6 launches, we even have a full set of Destiny-themed Daedric armor purchasable from Eververse. Why fight dragons when you can buy silver and farm another reskin raid boss in style? IP defining. With so much to look forward to, it can't get any better, right? Wrong. Here to talk about the future of supers in Destiny, we have game director Luke Smith. So from Luke here, hi, it's been a while. I'll keep it short and sweet. In the final shape, 2024, we'll be removing half of the current supers from the game. As we set our horizons in the coming years of Destiny, we want to focus on creating a streamlined and cohesive experience for players. We're currently targeting all non-IP defining supers currently present on each class. By removing these, we believe we can achieve a better balance and more enjoyable game for all players in the long run. No one cares about adding new supers to the game when the old ones don't even align with your class identity. We understand that this change may be disappointing to some, but we are confident that it is the right decision for the long-term health of the game. We'll have more details in as the final shape approaches. But until then, just hold that Nova Warp tight. Now what? With the end of the Light and Darkness saga, our 10 plus years since Destiny was only a name on our copyright submission form, what is the next narrative step for the game as we know it? Prepare yourselves for the Siva Saga. That's right, you begged for it. And if there's one thing we do better than anything else, it's listen to our community. The next 10 years of Destiny will be entirely Siva focused. We're launching the new era of Destiny with the expansion Outbreak, followed shortly by Season 28, Season of the Plague, Season 29, Season of the Siva, Season 30, Season of Nanites, Season 31, Redacted. We'll leave you to guess what the last one is. You guys have phones, right? What else do we have planned for the far, far future? Not only will 2026 usher in a new era of Destiny narrative, we'll also be saying goodbye to Destiny 2 and ushering the long-awaited Destiny 3. We've been working on an entirely new engine from the ground up, designed to allow us to constantly update the game and do away with any technical restraints on vault space, seasonal content, and weapon data. We'll be shutting down the servers for both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 post-launch, but all the content from both games will be fully migrated to Destiny 3, even expansion content that's currently in the DCV. Hot damn, Bungie, you guys are good. The only thing that would not be transferred is player data. Destiny 3 offers both you and us the opportunity for a fresh start. Don't worry, there will be plenty of loot to re-earn, rewards to chase, and reskin worlds to explore. And we're excited to begin this new journey together. Destiny 3 will be free to play, mobile exclusive, giving Guardians the flexibility to play wherever they want, whenever they want. We believe this is the future Destiny players don't know they want, but will love when launch day arrives. arrives. Mobile exclusive. What in the blizzard? Now, resolved issues. At the time of writing, last week our hotfix team squashed a deep site bug, granting more red border drops to game journalists. Fixed an issue allowing players to repurchase adept rewards from Save 14 after visiting the lighthouse. We added a new exotic mission to the game. Happy now? Lord Kelvin's Basilisk will now reliably stun overload champions. Known issues. The highest battlegrounds on Mars is referencing old textures from the DCV. Rick Cactus' intros are still too long. SBMM is still in the game. Melees never connect like ever. The unstoppable hand cannon mod is not working as intended. Titans are still dumb as hell despite multiple hotfixes. Oh no. This has got to be a typo. Warlocks never play support despite being the support class. Just put on a well, bro. Come on. Hunters are still toxic. What a surprise. We'll be adding another report option specifically for Place Hunter. Myling Games is stolen. Fallout's mustache. Please give it back. The scanner, operator suppressor buff tutorials appear on the screen even after consecutive playthroughs of Operation Seraph Shield. Certain players are experiencing an increased number of every error code ever imagined, and even some we haven't even made yet. Stay tuned over at Bungie Help on Twitter for updates. Final word? Wow, what a twab. Were you able to read it all without taking a breath? As always, when we finish these juicy newsletters, we take a moment to sit back and appreciate all the Guardians who make the world of Destiny so special. Even though only a few hands here at the studio have assisted in typing up this final communication of 2022. I speak for every team member when I say, we hope you had a Merry Christmas, and we look forward to an awesome new year together. It's getting late. We should go, Bungie. All right, guys, that is your final, and I mean final, TWAB for 2022. Everything in today's TWAB was 100% legit and straight from the mouths of Bungie. If you're clicking on their website right now wondering where the hell the article is, just don't question it. Either way it goes, I'm looking forward to hitting the new year with you guys. Y'all have been amazing. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.